There's something so electric about an anime character who is usually calm, collected, and a literal goofball to go full-on rage mode. So in today's video, let's look at some of the best rage moments of this decade. Starting off this list with Soya's rage against Gakujo in Tokyo Revengers. It was the moment that took everyone by surprise. You see, Doman's fight against Denjiku is absolutely wild, but when Soya sees his boy getting wrecked, it's a different level of personal. He finally loses it when he sees Hakai being beaten by one of the Haitani brothers. See, Soya has this strange little quirk and he's known as angry for a reason. The minute the tears start flowing, Soya's inner beast awakens and he becomes the crying blue ogre. And when this dude cries, everyone cries, just in a much more painful way. The poor Haitani brothers got to experience this firsthand and they were definitely not expecting it. Soya's punches literally sounded like shotgun shots and it was the most satisfying sound ever. Why is this such a good rage moment? No one expected Soya to be the guy who turned the tide of battle. Everyone thinks he's just Nahoya's quiet brother hanging out in the background until he isn't. Let's move on to Adonis, who casually killed a bunch of humans in his rage mode after he witnessed the death of someone very close to him. You see, a man with nothing to lose is a dangerous force to mess with. Now, this dude was locked up just like All For One from My Hero Academia, and when he finally breaks free, he makes sure to give us all a show. This guy's emotional dam ultimately bursts, and what followed was nothing short of a massacre. One by one, Adonis murders all those evil humans in the most painful way. Bro lit everyone up just like they lit up his teacher. What's absolutely terrifying about Adonis's rage mode is that it was an absolute bloodbath. Flames, destruction, screams. It's a scene straight out of a nightmare. The whole thing makes the civilians watching go, oh no, this is literally the consequences of our actions. The people who'd been so arrogant, so sure they were on the right side, now have to face the fact that they poked the wrong bear. Moving on, we have Misaka Mikoto from A Certain Scientific Railgun, who unleashes her fury on Baba, a hacker and generally an awful person. You see, Baba thinks he can get away with all the misdeeds he does. He not only messed with Mikoto's friends, but also manipulated other espers in Academy City, just like he owned the place. It's almost like he forgot who he was dealing with, but the moment he laid a finger on someone close to her, it was game over. This was seriously the moment we all lived for. Mikoto literally pulled apart the entire type Mantis robot in seconds without even breaking a sweat. And she does it all with this cool, determined look on her face. It's the kind of moment where you just want to cheer because it's so satisfying. This just goes to show exactly why making enemies with Misaka is dangerous to your life. Also, huge respect for Baba's voice actor for making him so infuriating. His voice alone makes me want to punch Baba. Moving on to the scene where Daoma from Blade of the Guardians went crazy with rage after he saw Laomo dead right in front of him. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's always been the strong, silent type, the one who keeps his emotions in check no matter how tough things get. But when he sees Laomo, the closest thing he's ever had to a father, lying there dead right in front of him, it's game over for those thugs. This is the moment when Daoma drops the calm facade and lets all that pent-up rage explode in one of the most jaw-dropping displays of raw power that you're ever gonna see. Those thugs who killed him were absolutely destroyed by our warrior. He acted like a one-man army and showed us all why he was the real boss. He completely snaps and you can see it in his eyes. The calm, collected warrior is gone, replaced by a relentless, unstoppable force of vengeance. And the animation of that fight scene when Daoma went crazy, absolutely stunning. Trust me, you'll love every second of it. Reg versus Bondrewd from Made in Abyss is one of the most interesting fights in the series. It all starts with Reg facing off against Bondrewd in his creepy helmet with a lot on the line. Bondrewd has been causing nothing but pain for our heroes, and Reg has had enough of his twisted games. This fight isn't just physical, it's personal. Bondrewd has hurt the people Reg cares about, and our boy isn't gonna let him get away with it. Let's just say, when Reg gets serious, you better watch out. Our boy goes berserk and is all about killing Bondrewd, even biting off a piece of metal from Bondrewd's mask. It's such a raw, primal display of his hatred towards Bondrewd, and that you can't help but get the chills. And let's talk about Reg's final attack. When Reg goes all out, he unleashes a massive blast from his incinerator, a laser beam that's so powerful it can vaporize almost anything in its path. The sheer scale of this attack is mind-blowing. On top of all of that, the animation was crazy good, nothing short of breathtaking. The detail, the fluidity of the movements, and the explosive energy of Reg's incinerator blast are all visually stunning.
僕は今心から思っている。お前たちを殺しておくべきだったと。
Normally, Makoto Misumi is this sweet, well-meaning guy who wouldn't hurt a fly unless he had to. He's always trying to keep a level head, and despite the many challenges he faces in this strange new world, he consistently does his best to stay kind, even in the face of hostility. But things take a turn when a bunch of hostile adventurers make him deal with all sorts of nonsense. And when Makoto sees one of the adventurer's memories and finds out that he's being used all this time, he snaps. He goes straight to that adventurer with a cold and intimidating look on his face and ends her life in the most brutal way. And honestly, his walk was so badass, it felt like it was right out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What makes this moment even more terrifying is the fact that this was the very first time Makoto had ever killed a human. It was so impactful because before this, he'd always managed to maintain some semblance of restraint even when dealing with enemies. But in that moment, it was clear that all bets were off, and his wrath was something you didn't want to be on the receiving end of.
そういえば初めて自分の意志で殺したのはこんなものか。まだ人も身も捨てねえんだよ。
Let's jump right into the adrenaline-pumping fight between Denji and Bat Devil. Now, Denji's motivation behind this fight is quite interesting. After Bat Devil ate power-up, Denji wasn't going to sit back. Why? Well, do you remember the promise power made to him? Yeah, that's exactly why. I mean, this guy might be the most relatable hero to you. Driven by rage, Denji first cuts off the Bat Devil's wing. What follows is nothing short of brutal, because the way Denji ended the Bat Devil's life was oh so painful. There were guts spilling everywhere. That's what you get when you mess with a guy who hasn't even copped a feeling. You're getting me, right? And can we just take a moment to appreciate how satisfying it is to see Denji unleash this kind of fury? On top of all of that, this is one of the most visually stunning fight scenes in the history of anime. It's the kind of fight that you want to keep watching and never end. Thank you, Mappa. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Ichigo's epic rage moment in Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc. If you thought this guy couldn't get any more intense, then think again. Ichigo goes full-on berserker mode when his friends in the Soul Society are thrown into chaos by the Quincy forces led by the big bad Yuha. I mean, come on, this isn't just any old battle, it's an all-out war that puts everything Ichigo cares about on the line. He was pissed beyond belief once he saw how mangled up Byakuya was. I mean, he was so mad that he was evaporating the water around him. Bro gives the old man Yuha a tough time and even burns his arm. That's what he gets for hurting those close to our hero. This moment solidifies Ichigo as a powerful protector and a formidable force, making it an unforgettable highlight in the Bleach saga. There's something deeply satisfying about seeing a normally composed hero like Ichigo let loose in such an explosive way. He's always carried the weight of protecting others, but this time it's personal. Okay, if you're liking this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't part of my community already. Thank you.
逃げる。誰が？どこへ？
After playing around with both Iris and Beatrix and watching their adorable swordplay, Shadow decided that their playtime was over. That's why Shadow left both the girls in awe after revealing to them that he's not scared of anyone and doesn't need to run away is nothing short of epic. Shadow starts preparing to unleash his signature I Am Atomic attack, and you can practically see the panic set in for Iris and Beatrix. They were staring death in the face, and let's be honest, they knew it. But what does Shadow do? He doesn't even need to finish them off with that insane move. Instead, he pulls, I'm out of here. He still left Iris on the ground, crying out of anger because she couldn't defeat him. I mean, Iris should have challenged Shadow to a shouting match. That could have given her a decent chance for a victory, right? I absolutely love this rage moment because it's not just about strength. Shadow showed complete and total dominance without even breaking a sweat. Plus, it's always funny and satisfying to see a character be so overpowered that they can afford to just walk away while their opponents are left questioning what the hell actually just happened. Oh boy, Balm unleashes his true powers in the first season of Tower of God, which is the moment when he proves that he's not a force to be messed with. You see, during one of the trials for climbing the tower, Balm sees Rachel getting hurt in front of him, and being the simp he is, Balm can't control himself and jumps in to save her. But when he takes a hit on his head, something within him snaps and he unleashes Shinsu in ways we've never seen before. But before he could absolutely destroy the one who hurt Rachel, he was controlled by a mysterious entity. This rage moment is so good because it's a turning point for Balm. It's the first time we truly see just how dangerous he can be when pushed to the limit. It shows that underneath that sweet exterior is a force that can shake the very foundations of the tower. And for fans, it was a clear sign that Balm isn't just some ordinary climber, he's a game changer.
世界よ、静止なさい。
Let's move on to Ragnar's rage moment against Ultimacia in Ragnar Crimson. So here's the deal. Ultimacia isn't just your run-of-the-mill villain. She's a world-destroying dragon lord with power levels that would make most enemies crumble in fear. She's been scheming, wrecking everything, and acting like she's untouchable. When Ragnar learns about her twisted schemes, he lets loose and gives Ultimacia a taste of her own medicine, and honestly, Ultimacia became Traumacia in no time. What makes this rage moment so iconic is how relentless Ragnar is. He doesn't give Ultimacia a second to breathe, let alone heal. He's throwing out attacks faster than she can comprehend, cutting through her spells and barriers like they're nothing. Ragnar really is the man who defies creation and makes his own laws when it comes to combat. I mean, I've never seen so much violence against a girl in any anime. But to be fair, Ultimacia deserved every moment of it. Let's talk about Yor going full-on assassin mode against Sickle and Chain Barnaby in Spy Family. Now, we all know how Yor isn't your average sweet housewife, something that she desperately tries to become. So what exactly does she do? She takes down bad guys. Her rage against Sickle and Chain Barnaby is the perfect example of that. When Yor senses bloodlust from that dude, she wastes no time and decides to confront him. I love how that dude's body felt fear even before Yor unleashed her rage on him. Yor looked exactly like an apex predator who'd found her prey. She literally restricted Sickle and Chain Barnaby in his own chain and quickly knocked him out cold. Sickle and Chain Barnaby's first mistake was having Anya there, and his second was taking his eyes off Yor for even just a second. You know, it's not every day we get to see a chick who knows how to be more than a damsel in distress, and we all dig it. Not to mention how slick the animation was during this scene.
死ね。神の怒りに焼き貫かれて。メギド！
Rimuru went from zero to hero quite quickly and became the ultimate god of his world. So, what happens when this guy goes full-on rage mode? Just a little thing called Megiddo, no big deal, except it totally is. These aren't just any beams, they're so intense that even Special A rank warriors like Fulgian are turned into toast. Now, here's where it gets wild. Rimuru decides to flex his power on the kingdom of Falmouth and unleashes Megiddo against their 5,000 strong army. 1 second, there's a massive army standing tall, and in the next, it's a laser light show straight straight from hell. The sky rained death, and every soldier who was unlucky enough to be in Rimuru's way got vaporized in a matter of seconds. And let's be real, when Rimuru casually said Megiddo, we all died a little inside, just like that army. You almost feel bad for them, but then again, did have it coming. The animation during this scene is top tier. The animators went all out in showing how devastating the Megiddo spell really is, and the way the credit theme starts rolling, it just elevates the scene to another level.
4803 5575
Moving on, we have Midoriya's epic rage moment against Tomura Shigaraki, the menace to everyone in the world of My Hero Academia. You see, our heroes had been trying to fight Shigaraki for a long time now. When Shigaraki hurts Bakugo right in front of Midoriya's eyes and calls it unnecessary bloodshed, Midoriya loses it. At this point, Midoriya's not even thinking about strategy or safety, he's just seeing red. The guy looks at Shigaraki with so much intensity that you'd swear he was about to straight up devour him on the spot. Without the fear of being reduced to nothing, Midoriya approached Shigaraki to absolutely annihilate him, but he was stopped by Nana Shimura, one of the wielders of One for All. But I gotta say, there haven't been a lot of moments when we see Midoriya this out of control and badass. It's nothing short of glorious. Imagine if Nana hadn't shown up. Deku might have turned Shigaraki into a crater, but let's be real, the collateral damage would have been off the charts. Alright, let's talk about the epicness of Naofumi's Wrath Shield that we got to see in Rising of the Shield Hero in Season 2. If you thought that Naofumi was going to sit back and watch as the village was being destroyed by a bunch of monsters, you clearly don't know our boy. So, what does he do? In order to destroy the barrage of monsters, Naofumi unleashes his Wrath Shield. It's basically Naofumi's way of saying, I'm done playing nice, now watch my wrath. The shield becomes a powerhouse of rage, absorbing all the bad vibes and negativity thrown at him and turning them into pure, unfiltered fury. But hey, this attack comes with a price and takes a toll on our poor boy. Still, he's not afraid to use it when push comes to shove. This moment is so good because it showcases Naofumi's character development. We've watched him go from a mistreated underdog to a fierce warrior who isn't afraid to fight back, and we couldn't be any prouder. Sung Jin-woo's rage against the upper rank hunters in solo leveling is a sight to behold, not only because of its intensity, but also because of the animation. After getting trapped in the boss area thanks to the scheming of his fellow hunters, Sung Jin-woo had no choice but to face the boss all on his own. But hey, this is solo leveling, so it's no surprise that he had to go in solo. Technically, he wasn't completely alone, but let's not get caught up in bad puns, okay? Honestly, we were all fed up with those hunters and their underhanded tactics, so when they strutted back in only to find Sung Jin-woo waiting for them, it felt like sweet karma. While the hunters hesitated, Sung Jin-woo was having his own internal battle. But well, the system had already decided for them, and so he didn't hold back. Watching him emotionlessly take down all those hunters was a sight to behold, especially with that bittersweet soundtrack playing in the background. I absolutely loved the payback those cocky hunters received, because watching Sung Jin-woo kill them mercilessly is oh so satisfying. After all, it's always fun to watch Sung Jin-woo flexing his powers.
だけど一つ残念なことを教えてやろう。
知らない。
Ah yes, Nanami beating up Haruta after being enraged was the moment we'd all been waiting for. It literally, yes, literally broke the internet. Now, Haruta's the kind of villain who will keep you entertained with his mind games and his mischief. When Nanami walks in, something just shifts. His luck finally runs out, well, at least by a little bit. Haruta tried to kick Nanami in his stomach, only to find out that he'd been trying to hit a wall. What comes next is nothing short of jaw-dropping as Nanami's silent rage destroys this poor femboy. It's always the calmest of the bunch that goes crazy when angry. That punch was so damn satisfying, it makes me want to watch it over and over again on a loop. And the way Nanami held Haruta by his ponytail makes me go, this should have been me, not him. Anyway, lesson learned. Never piss off a man who just wants to clock out and go home. Not to mention how the art was literally godly, that you could screenshot the scene just fine and it's an instant wallpaper. Remember when Nezuko transformed into her adult demon form during her fight with Daki? Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. When Daki tried hurting Tanjiro, Nezuko couldn't sit back and watch. She decided to jump right into the battlefield and kick Daki with so much power her head flew off. This fight was brutal on all levels since Daki didn't hold back as well. Honestly, during this fight, I couldn't help but think if Nezuko was using leg breathing. I mean, she'd been using a lot of leg strength against Daki, but hey, it might just be fan service. And as if that epic scenario wasn't enough, the art and animation are borderline godly. Who even didn't get goosebumps? In the end, Nezuko's rage and determination pushed her to new heights, proving that she's not just a cute demon girl, but a force to be reckoned with. Daki might have underestimated her, but Nezuko delivers a powerful lesson. Never mess with family.
君のための爪、君のための牙だ。俺は君の獣になる。
Legoshi versus Lion from Beastars? Now this one's going to be interesting. A mild-mannered wolf decides to go all out against Lion. Mind you, he's not just any ordinary character from Beastars. Lion is the head honcho of a criminal gang. Now this guy made a grave mistake of kidnapping Haru and actually trying to eat her. Legoshi flips the switch and turns on his beast mode, absolutely overpowers Lion, and leaves Haru traumatized, I suppose. I absolutely love this rage moment. The mix of human fighting moves like punches and knees to the chin, and then animal instincts like dodging, biting, landing on all fours, pouncing. It's all just so satisfying. It really drives home the point that Legoshi is a wolf through and through. He finally accepts his beast side right in front of Haru without holding back. Without those wild, animalistic touches, this scene wouldn't have hit as hard. Big props to the writers and animators for making it so intense and fun to watch.
よかった。本当に。
Let's talk about the absolutely jaw-dropping moment when Luffy, in a fury, used his epic Red Rock against Kaido. It's already a default how the calmest and the goofiest character amongst all is typically the worst when angry. You see, Luffy goes into Gear 3, inflates his fist like a balloon, and then channels some serious advanced Busoshoku Haki into it. Then, BAM! He delivers this massive flaming punch that's not just powerful, but absolutely epic. The so-called indestructible Yonko Kaido really took a bad hit here. Kaido was the rightful receiver of this punch because he'd been ticking Luffy off all this time. But let's take a moment to appreciate the animation and the emotional weight of this scene. It's pure One Piece magic. The visuals are stunning and you can feel the intensity of the moment pulsing through your screen. True fans know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a moment that'll have you shouting, "Go Luffy!" while your heart races. Hence why it's the best rage moment, not just in One Piece, but also of the decade. And with that, we're wrapping up this list of the best rage moments of the century. You can take a look at the best showcases of power in this decade by clicking here. Alright, thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.